Welcome to our YouTube channel Huge Library Audiobooks, where knowledge becomes power. Today, we begin one of the most influential journeys in personal finance history with Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert T. Kiyosaki. This book changed more people's life forever reach on financial freedom. This is the story of two fathers, two mindsets, and two completely different destinies. Robert Kiyosaki grew up in Hawaii. As a young boy, he had two father figures guiding his life. One was his real father, an educated man with a PhD who worked as a teacher and government official. He valued education, job security, and a good reputation. He was what Robert called his poor dad. The other was the father of his best friend Mike, a businessman who didn't finish high school, but who understood how money truly worked. He became Robert's rich dad. Both men were smart, hardworking, and honest. But they had completely opposite views about money. Poor Dad would say, "Go to school, get good grades, find a safe job." Rich Dad would say, "Learn how money works. Make it serve you." Poor Dad believed in job security. Rich Dad believed in financial freedom. Poor Dad said, "Our home is our greatest asset." Rich Dad replied, "Your home is not an asset if it takes money out of your pocket." As Robert grew older, he began to notice something. Despite all his father's education and hard work, his family was always struggling financially. Meanwhile, his rich dad, who owned small businesses and real estate, was growing wealthier every year. That's when Robert decided to learn from both but to follow the path of Rich Dad. He learned that it's not how much money you make. It's how you think about money that matters. This story isn't about having rich parents. It's about choosing which mindset to adopt. You can have a poor dad's education and still think like a rich dad. You can come from struggle and still learn the language of wealth. Because, in the end, wealth begins in the mind. With Two Rich Dad Poor Dad. The story of how one boy learned that the rich don't work for money. They make money work for them. The 6 wealth lessons of Rich Dad. We uncover the 6 wealth building lessons Robert Kiyosaki learned from his rich dad. We start on 1, the rich don't work for money. Most people work for a paycheck. When fear of being broke rises, they look for jobs, not opportunities. Rich Dad said, "The moment you realize if you're working for money, you become its slave." Instead, the rich build assets that earn income even when they're not working. Businesses, investments, real estate. Money becomes their servant, not their master. 2. Why teach financial literacy? It's not how much you make. It's how much you keep and how hard that money works for you. An asset puts money in your pocket. A liability takes money out. Many people think their house or car is an asset, but they often cost more than they bring in. Rich Dad taught, if you want to be rich, buy assets that produce cash flow. 3. Mind your own business. Even if you have a job, start building your own financial foundation. Poor Dad worked for a company. Rich Dad owned companies. You may have a job, but your business is your collection of assets. That's what will buy your freedom one day. 4. The power of corporations. Rich Dad showed Robert how the wealthy use corporations to protect and grow money. An employee earns, pays taxes, and then spends what's left. A corporation earns, spends, and pays taxes on what's left. That small difference builds empires. 5. The rich invent money. Opportunities are everywhere, but only those who are financially educated recognize them. Money isn't real until you make it real. The rich invent money by being creative. Starting businesses, buying undervalued assets, or solving problems others avoid. They don't say, "I can't afford it." They ask, "How can I afford it?" 6. Work to learn, not to earn. Don't chase paychecks. Chase knowledge that multiplies your value. Learn to sell, learn to lead, and learn to invest. Each skill you master is a new income stream waiting to grow. Those are the 6 core lessons that transformed Robert's life and millions of readers around the world. Remember, the more you learn, the more you earn. How to apply these principles today? Now that we know what Rich Dad taught, let's talk about how to apply those lessons in real life. Step 1. Change your mindset. Everything starts with how you think. Stop saying "I can't." Start asking "How can I?" Rich Dad believed thoughts become actions, and actions create results. To be rich, think like an investor, not an employee. Step 2. Pay yourself first. Before you pay bills, taxes, or expenses, set aside money for investments and savings. This forces you to find ways to cover the rest. It builds discipline and confidence. Step 3. Build assets slowly. You don't need millions to start. Buy books, learn about investing, start a side hustle, or acquire small income generating tools. Over time, your assets grow. And one day, your money starts working harder than you do. Step 4. Keep learning. Financial education never ends. You keep learning because the world changes, money evolves, but principles remain. Read, listen, watch. Surround yourself with people who challenge your comfort zone. Step 5. Take action. Rich Dad said, the difference between a rich person and a poor person is how they manage fear. You'll never feel 100% ready, but start anyway. Take small steps, learn from mistakes, adjust, and keep going. That's how wealth is built, not overnight, but over time. Think like a rich dad. Pay yourself first, build assets, keep learning, take action. The journey to financial freedom begins in your mind and becomes real when you take the first step. You can buy book, different market, library. The rich don't work for money. They make money work for them. And thank you for visit our YouTube channel's Huge Library Audiobooks. We have more book about financial, motivation, investing, learn more Forex trading, psychology, mindset. See you next books. Don't forget to subscribe if you want helps us. Please click on that red button you see down there.